man? What it do? This is your boy North End Floyd, man, with another kickback podcast episode 112. Man, I know y'all seen me yesterday. You know what I'm saying? On Thursday, that was a special one. So your boy, I'm grinding, I'm doing my thing. But you know what I'm saying? We have a dope show tonight. Um, I have two educated, well-spoken ladies that I highly respect, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna be on the show. They go talk, you know what I'm saying? We go vibe out, we go chill, we go have a good time. We was having a good time before the show. We started a few minutes late because the conversation was so good, but still, we're gonna talk about, I was trying to think of a title, and so I was like, both of these women in my eyes are successful. So I was just say, let's just come up with Diary of a Successful Woman and stuff like that. So that's the title. So we're just gonna have some, we got some great conversational pieces we could talk about. And if you want to call, if you want to chime in to the show, you can dial the number that's down at the below. 409-233-0017. You could tap in, you could call, you could agree or disagree to what we're saying, or if you just want to give your opinion on the particular topic we are talking about. So like I said, man, I want to thank everybody that's been liking, that's been sharing the content, that's been supporting your boy. Because it's not gonna stop and we go continue growing and stuff like that. So to get with it, man, let me bring my guest on, you know what I'm saying? Uh and y'all seen them before, Miss Erica, Renee, and Miss TRE. Um Miss Trina Eve, you know what I'm saying, representing the roles. She also has some dope shirts that y'all could get. I got a couple of them myself, you know what I'm saying? And we gonna get to that. Just hold your horses, my G. We gonna get to that topic real soon, you know what I'm saying? But she has some dope shirts you can check out and stuff like that. Trina, why don't you let them know where they can find these shirts at, because you have a pop-up shop coming up soon, right?
Yes, I do actually. I'm doing a pop up shop tomorrow between 10 and 3. I will be at the 11th Street Shops. Thanks, Kim.
Mm.
I'll be at the 11th Street Shops where Candy Girl is at, right there in the front. So I appreciate all the love that you guys have been showing. Have some new designs coming out. And ultimately, like we say, the purpose is just get the word out there and plant seeds
Oh,
about the
damn.
importance of mental health in style. So that's where we're at. So it'll be 11th Street Shops right there where Candy Girl is located from 10 to 3 tomorrow. And if you have any questions or you can't make it, you can always inbox me and I do deliver. So
You say the pop-up shop is on 11th Street?
yeah, at the 11th Street Shops where Candy Girl is
Oh, yeah, yeah. Where
with
Mary at?
Tiffany. Yeah, Mary's there,
Yeah,
Tiffany's
for
there,
sure. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Reese is there. All of them are there. So
For sure. And what time is it again?
from 10 to 3.
10 to 3. I might have to swing through there. I'm gonna have to look at
For
that weather
sure.
too.
I appreciate it.
Miss
Yeah,
Erica,
yeah.
what's good with you? Miss Renee, my bad. What's
Good,
up,
no
Renee?
worries. It's been all good. Just, tax season, been busy, but it's going great. Can't complain.
It's tax season right now.
Yes, it doesn't end April 15th, honey.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Did I
yes.
do my
To me.
taxes? I think I did do my taxes. For
You
sure.
might
I
have
did do my
extended
taxes.
it.
I
If
did
you
it.
extended
I
it,
did
it's
my
still
taxes, my
October
taxes.
15th.
So if there's somebody need their taxes, they need to holler at you to get their taxes done.
So I'm booked and busy in this new role, so
Ooh.
I can't right now. Except I do have a business, however, but I have put that on pause for now till I get situated.
I see. I
Mhm.
see. So look, I want to thank y'all for coming on the show, spending y'all Friday with me. And Kim already said she was calling in because last time she called in like 3 times. Like she just kept calling in. I ain't gonna lie, she was lit too. She was turned up. I like, damn, you should just come on. But hey, I respect that. I appreciate her calling in and stuff like that. So y'all seen the questions, and Miss Renee, you got notes. So you definitely did your research and stuff like that. Is there any particular question that y'all seen that y'all want to chime in first? Ladies, I mean, women, y'all can have y'all. Was it
Mhm.
anyone y'all was feeling, or y'all just want me to just go ahead and dive in? You know what I'm saying, on
I
this
think
Friday
dive
night.
in because I think just go ahead and dive in on
I
it.
just wanna die.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So the first one that I wrote, you know what I'm saying, was do men respect or appreciate a successful woman more? Do successful women get more appreciation from a man? Do y'all think that, or just dudes is just trash out here, or we just trash and we don't care success or not? They still gonna treat you the same.
I'll let I want to let Erica go first.
Okay, Erica, you got the
So
notes anyway, so
yeah, so I do think that I'm gonna say I'm not. I do think that good men do appreciate a successful woman
mm,
because from there, the reason why I say good men or secure men is because when it comes to certain aspects of someone's success, be it financial, knowledge wise, or any of that sort, that man has to be in a place of security to where he does not feel, I want to say, inferior to his partner, so to
mm,
speak. So
facts,
I
dog.
do believe
Mm.
that I do believe that there are men, most men do respect successful women. And these days, if you look at how, I always go back to how social media has influenced so much, it's almost like the idea of what success is kind of blurred, like the social following and things of that sort, how relevant you are. But when it goes back to success, to me, it's just like your basic foundation off the camera.
Yeah. Shout out to my boy Brian Hackney. He just got married, you know what I'm saying? Congratulations to the homie, you know what I'm saying? You
Congratulations.
know what I'm saying? Oh, wrong thing.
So
So
there we
congratulations to my boy. Tito's in the building. But
um,
congratulations to my boy, you know what I'm saying? He got married and he did say, you know what I'm saying, they deserve their praise. So shout out to him. He feeling that. But Trina, what you was gonna say? I'm sorry, I apologize.
oh no, you good. So I totally agree. My thing is, I'm gonna say some. You know what I'm saying?
Some.
And when I say some men, it's yeah, because it depends. Like it's not even a respect of level either. Because there are some men that are successful that don't appreciate successful women and feel
Mm,
threatened by that, just as well as there's some men who may not necessarily be what we consider successful and they still don't respect successful or appreciate successful women. So the funny thing about that is those two groups, they have something in common, that inferiority. That's the funny thing. Like either you're not doing it, so you don't appreciate the fact that she's doing it, or you're doing it, and if she does it, you act as if it cheapens yours. And it's like it
Mhm.
doesn't have to. And so I just feel like, there are some men who appreciate a successful woman, but when you start thinking about the word successful, like what does that really mean? And so we
mm,
start getting into, that spider web, if you will, when it comes to what in the world does it mean to be successful in the first place. You know what I'm saying? And that determines as well on whether or not you'll be appreciated. Who are you with? What is their definition of successful and so forth? So, but some
yeah.
people do. Some men do, not all.
Yeah, I think some men do. I mean, a lot of men probably get intimidated by a female success if they're more successful than them. I could see where the intimidation comes from. But I think more mature men can appreciate a successful woman because the drive, her work ethic, you know what I'm saying, what she can provide. If you're thinking about stability, a female that can hold you down, a successful woman could check all those boxes for a mature man because some men, we don't want to um let me nicely put this, but let's just say we fall off or we fall back a little bit and we have that woman right there to, what I'm saying, to pick up the slack, just in case, what I'm saying,
Mhm.
that man loses his job or something like that. So I mean, having a successful woman, what I'm saying, is a benefit. But like you just said, it depends on what that guy considers successful. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's a spider web of things and stuff like that. So,
Mhm.
and there's different levels to success. So, you know, um, in her eyes, she might be successful, but that guy might think, nah. So it's a spider web of things that you can, when you go through the success ladder. But um, I think as a guy matures, I think he appreciates a successful woman and, a female that has goals and things she's trying to achieve. It especially if she makes time for that man too. So
Mhm.
Well,
you
and
definitely need to make time for that man for sure.
right. That's true. And then, like you said, the two things you said maturity and you said intimidation. And to me, I feel like when it comes to men, there is a level of maturity that, yes, that in general, regardless of whom that they need to have. But to me, intimidation comes from a place of false intention. If you feel that within a relationship, like if you have a pure decent intention with that woman, that 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 intimidation won't be there, if that makes sense. He'll present it maybe as a healthy challenge, but he won't be intimidated by that unless he has false intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think some guys, like a successful woman, if it don't works out, the excuse a lot of guys like to use is like, oh, she's a
Too
lead.
independent.
Yeah, she's too independent. She don't really want a man, and she's too strict. What I'm saying, all these rules and stuff like that. But I just think, I just think, if the vibe's right, it really doesn't matter. I think you just feel that person and you
Mhm.
accept them for what they is, even if they're not as successful as you. If y'all vibe, what I'm saying, that's just the vibe and stuff like that. But um, I
Yeah.
know for myself speaking, what I'm saying, I respect, um, I love a female that has goals and um,
Mhm.
and puts her man first too, what I'm saying, along with them goals. Don't just push your man to the side, what I'm saying, and work on your goals. If you could provide both. I know that's kind of hard, it's kind of tricky, but like I said, I'm just gonna go back to the thing like maturity. And I think like the older a man gets, the more he respects the female that's out there doing a thing. And what I'm saying, just try to get it, just try to boss up.
Sometimes that older thing,
Sometimes.
because you have to differentiate
Yeah, yeah.
between chronological age and maturation age. They're not always the same. They got some old fools out there too.
They do got
You
some
feel me?
old,
You know
some
what I'm
older cats out there that's tripping.
saying? I just feel like at the end of the day, again, first of all, if you're with someone that doesn't value success, then they're not going to appreciate a successful
Mhm.
person. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing is, you got to be like books. If you take two books and stack them towards each other like this, they can balance and hold each other up. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like I help you, you
Mm,
help me. It doesn't really have to do with, oh, but make sure you put him first, and it works out. The word of the day is balance. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But when you
mm,
start talking about appreciating a successful woman, again, it goes back to that person's values in the first place. If you don't
Mhm.
value success, then you're not going to appreciate a successful woman, because you're not going to value what she went through to be successful in the first place. You
Yeah.
know, you may be intimidated, which it's like you take it as a threat instead of taking it as your own motivation to do better. You take it more as a threat. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So,
yeah, and you know what? I'm gonna go to I hope my wife forgive me on this story I'm finna tell when I was young. This is way before her. So I was like 19 and she was like 20 or something like that. And she was going to Texas A&M for sports medicine. She was doing her thing. She had just came back from it was the summertime. So she was coming back and, chilling and stuff like that. And I met her. And she came saw me before she went back to school. And I really just blew her off. I didn't even care or whatever. Um, and I just felt that, what I'm saying, I didn't value, her goals and the success she was trying to achieve. I was still hanging in the hood. I was still, what I'm saying, messing with the ratchets out there doing the thing.
oh,
And I
correct.
just what I'm not gonna say ratchets. Forgive whoever that time I was talking to, but
Just say it.
I
Tell
was
us who
I
said it.
wasn't I wasn't ready for that type of what I'm saying, female like that was out there getting in and trying to get achieve stuff and working hard for things. And I just blame that on maturity. I just wasn't right at the time, what I'm saying. And now looking back, I can I admire her, what I'm saying, at that age, going to do a thing, because she was telling me about her dreams. She wanted to work for the Houston Rockets in sports medicine and do all this and that and stuff like that. And I was like, where the blunt at? You know what I'm saying? I was like, I was like, yeah, let me see, let me call my homeboy else so I could go. She didn't smoke anything like that, but that's what was in my head.
Yeah.
And the more that I got, more, the older I got, and and life started hitting, um, I realized like, yo, I gotta start, going out and achieve goals. And because life's hit you, what I'm saying, you can't live with your parents forever and stuff. So but now that I got mature, I respect the female that's out there doing a thing, that's out there grinding, that's bossing up, that's that's trying to achieve her level of success or what she thinks. And I think, and I know you said some men, but I'm just saying, I think that, a man that's out there, what I'm saying, living life and paying bills and stuff like that, I think he does admire and respect a female that's, successful and doing her thing.
Mhm.
I mean, you saying that, Floyd, but I
I'm
mean,
saying that, but
they
they
got dudes
do.
out there that's paying bills and doing all that who still do not respect women, much less successful ones. So it's like you already know our answer is
Uh,
it depends. That's pretty much what
Yeah.
we end up with. It depends, you know.
they
Yeah.
wasn't, hey, they wasn't ratchet, but they was gangster though. I was some females. I bonded out a few females before. I'm not
Ooh.
gonna lie, I bonded out one. You know what I'm saying? Her mom called me. She say she's in jail or whatever. She need bond. She needed to get bonded out. I bonded her out for sure. So I ain't gonna say she
You
was
a real
ratchet.
one.
Hey,
Okay.
I ain't gonna say she was ratchet, but she was gangster though, for real though. Wow.
Hey,
I got
not about their life.
one day
Okay.
I'll tell that story. But I'm gonna tell. I ain't gonna tell it now. So okay, so we agree a little bit on that. So on this one now, this is a little bit complicated. And this can be a little bit, hard for some people. Like, when is it time to move on from a relationship? And I know that, like you said, the key, like keyword spider web, that can take you to all kind of things. But I
Mhm.
mean, from mental abuse to domestic abuse, you know what I'm saying? You could dive into all that too. But let's just say, like, let's omit all that. That's not happening.
Okay.
And when do you think it's time for someone to move on from a relationship?
You want me to go first or something?
It's whatever y'all want.
Oh, I was talking to her.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
I know. I was like,
um, So, okay, so first of all, whether we
X.
omit those things or not, I'm gonna honestly say that it depends on the person. You need to leave when you're ready to. The problem with a lot of relationships is people leave because people tell them to leave and they're not ready to, and now you're embarrassed because you go back. You know what I'm saying? And now, just I remember just being like super young, like one of my first serious relationships, late teens, very early 20s, probably 20, right? Just, when you date somebody and it's kind of like that back and forth, high school sweetheart, that type of deal. The ones that lead into like into adulthood, right? And so you
Mhm.
want back and forth, and leaving that relationship prematurely because I hadn't got all of it out of my system, just listening to everybody else, and then ended up back in that situation, and it was not pretty, right? Because it should have ran this course. If I would have followed my mind and what I wanted to do, I would have been done with that. But instead, leaving prematurely and then going back, and it actually being worse than it was before. So I think that when it's time to relieve a relationship when you are ready to. And it's not like, to me, with women, if we're honest, it's levels to this because we check out well before we leave. And
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, that's research, even.
Is the,
A
is the
woman.
women is a woman's intuition, is that a real thing? Do y'all, is that, I hear that
Yes.
all the time. Hey, go for your woman's
Well,
intuition.
y'all
Trust your
have
woman's intuition.
intuition too. Y'all just don't listen to it.
I
And
listen
Yeah.
y'all
to
don't
it. It's a feeling. It's a
y'all
feeling I
don't
get.
tend to train it. So therefore y'all ignore it and y'all don't train it.
It's
So
a
y'all more
feeling.
reactive to it.
No, it's I'm a look. I ain't finna. I'm not gonna use zodiac signs, but I'm a Cancer, and my man intuition kicked in. This is another story. It kicked in, and I was messing with this chick. Forgive me, my wife. Don't kill me. This is stories way before her, but I was messing with this chick, and I felt that she was playing me. Like my intuition kicked in, and I felt it. And I passed by a house, and she had a truck there, and I say, "Oh, you got that dude over there? Okay, cool. I respect that. That's all good." She said it was her brother. It wasn't her brother because you know what? After we broke up, after the fact, I say, "Hey, you got a brother?" And she's like, "No, I just got a sister." And I called her. I didn't even tell her. But years later, I say, "Hey, don't you got a brother?" She was like, "Nah, I just got a sister." So she lied. She lied. So my intuition was correct. She was cheating on me.
You didn't listen to it though. That's what we talking
I
about. Like,
broke up with her.
literally.
I,
No,
I I let her go. I didn't let her go
yeah.
after that, but I let her go like a few weeks
Exactly. So
later
you're
though.
proving proving my point. You didn't leave. And to be honest with
Mhm.
you, women tend to have that as well. So what, regardless of gender, a lot of times, some of us are seeing is believing. You go out there, hurt your own feelings. You know that was something to find. I tell people all the time, you look under that rock, you go find that snake, and that snake might bite you. Okay,
Mm.
you flipping rocks, and then what happens? That's why I'm not a phone toucher. I don't do the phone touching. What am I doing that for? Why do I have to play detective? You don't want to know when to leave a relationship? Then, because I've already established that I don't trust you.
Mm.
That's an issue. That's a conversation. So we need to have that conversation. If I don't find anything, I still didn't trust you enough to actually check. That's a problem. Because now what happens when you find that truck outside that house? Or you
Yeah.
find those text messages and you're still there? Who feels dumber? You.
Well, I mean, I seen a truck in the yard,
Oh,
but I knew I did,
Yes, about that truck.
I knew it wasn't her brother. So I mean, it took me a few weeks to break up, but I knew it was over after that. So I just had to break up with her, and that's just the only thing. Them 2 weeks after the truck was there, it was like the conversation was just dying out because of me, because I was trying to end it,
Mhm.
But and somebody said I knew and I stayed. I didn't know she was cheating, and I stayed. She said it was her brother, so I just really had to think about it. It took me 2 weeks to think about it, and then I let that go. But I think when you're talking to somebody, okay, so let me say this. Okay, is this in a relationship that you need to decide to leave, or like when you're like the talking stages?
Talking stages too.
either.
I think okay, so like as far as talking stages go, I think when you're talking to somebody and you're getting to know somebody, I think as a man, like, man, this chick ain't the one. She ain't it, bro. But I'm just gonna give you the tips on it. But men know they be like, she ain't the one, but her sex good. But I'm just gonna keep on banging her because the sex good. But I'm not gonna take it further than that. And that's when it gets sticky because the female, she's thinking one thing, and then the man's thinking like, I don't really want a relationship with her because mentally I'm not rocking with her, but physically I'm rocking with her. So that's when the clash come. But and I just want to throw that part out there. But as far as moving on, I just, if I'm talking to you and it's just it's not clicking. You know what I'm saying? I've been with females like I'm a chill, laid back cat. So I've been with females that, if they're like argumentative, I mean, if they like to argue a lot just off of small stuff right there, that's just a turn off. That lets me know right there that, it's time to move on and stuff like that. If we're constantly arguing instead of, doing things that we might both like to do together, then it's time to move on. Cause I don't have time to be arguing and fighting with nobody. You know what I'm saying? That's not in me to argue and fight with somebody. That really wears me out. That like mentally drains me when I have to argue and fight with somebody. It just kills me and stuff like that. I don't, or that's why I say I don't argue with people because mentally that just that just, it just, makes me tired and
That's
stuff
the
like that.
that's the
So,
cancer talking. That's you and your little
Mhm.
cancer feelings. But the fact is, one, it is 2022. There are females that find guys that think the same exact thing. That he looks nice and maybe the sex is good because unfortunately, and maybe fortunate for some these days, we tend to be physical first and then try to get to know each other after the fact. Like, oh, so what you like to do? But
yes,
the,
that's
the
so
physical
backwards.
tends to come first. You know what I'm saying? And so at the end of the day, there may be some females out there. There are some females out there who would actually have the same thought process that, oh, I don't really see myself fooling with him like that, but he cool. He might be good arm candy because we like nice
Mm,
people on our arm too. You know what I'm saying? He might do certain things that you like. And so it's like the pastime. So whether it's the talking stage or not, like you said, when you start to recognize things that for sure are not things that you will tolerate in a relationship, it's time to move on. It doesn't mean you will, like you said, oh, but the sex is good. Yeah, but you also know you're not going to want to deal with that part. Y'all might only get
mhm,
along when y'all have sex. And that in itself is an issue, right? But at the end of the day, you know what your flags are. You know what you're not willing to deal with. You know what you don't want to deal with. So if you want to know when it's time to move on, it's when you start recognizing those things. Everybody has deal breakers. No
yeah,
compromises. You bum rush past those no compromises, those things that you know you don't want to deal with, then guess what? You're not respecting your boundaries either.
Yeah, facts. I think, it's so backwards. We get that so backwards, you know what I'm saying? You know, the physical comes first, like, the Facebook user say, I don't know who he is, I'm sorry. I don't know why it does that. But the physical comes first, and then after, 6 months in, you finally get to know this person, you're like, man, I don't like this person. Like, mentally, I don't like how they think. I don't like what they like to do. And then, the relationship ends, and hopefully, it ends without nobody getting pregnant. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes that's not the case. You
The
become
damage
so
is still done.
physical. Yeah, the damage is still done, but it's like worse when you create a child, and then, what I'm saying, you see these people are having kids and they're not together, and you be like, the female's still pregnant, and be like, who's the baby dad? Oh, F him. you know like, damn, like, what happened? So I mean, to avoid some of these situations, I think we need to discipline ourselves to mentally get to know this person before the physical happens. I know that's kind of difficult sometimes, but
Right.
I think it all boils down to discipline. You know, I don't, it might be hard for a guy to turn down a female, what I'm saying, if he's physically attracted to her and she's like, really aggressive and want to do something. What I'm saying? I don't know too many guys that saying, nah, babe, hey, chill out. I still want to get to know you mentally before we physically do this. You know what I'm saying? She might be like, what the hell, or whatever. That might be a first time. But
Yeah.
I think it's needed, what I'm saying, especially in the Black community and stuff like that. So I think we mentally need to know the person we're dating before we physically. And it just makes it more better too when the physical does happen, because you know that person, you know what they like. So you know their love
Mm-hmm.
language and all that type, their sex language and all that. So
Right. And see, I was going for me when I think of this question, to me it's a loaded question without context. Because for me, like when it's time for me to move on a relationship, all possible communication has been exhausted because it either communication wasn't consistent in the beginning or there was a breakdown during the relationship and you could not get to a point to where you could resolve that, to be able to communicate to your partner in a way to where they can receive what you're saying, not in defense but in understanding, so that you two can come to a common ground. Because the things that we see today, which is like most common with divorce rate, you see these people, it's eye candy, they're attracted to them, like you said, they're dating them for the first year and they get into it and they end up getting married and they get divorces because like you had said, Trina, they didn't actively work to get to know the person. You know what I'm saying? So during that talking phase, like you said, Trina, deal breakers is when you are actually communicating, getting to know that person, and you're in so many ways being intentional about viewing this person as a long term, not a short term means. And so what ends up happening because of that breakdown in communication, be it that the person who you're also talking to may not have ever been taught to be able to communicate to you. So when you talk to them and you're trying to communicate to them, they feel as though you're talking at them. And then there
mm-hmm.
becomes this complexity within a relationship. So the biggest thing when it comes to this is like when you cannot repair that communication and you cannot come to resolve. Because today people will just fall out of interest. They won't even actually work because a relationship takes work. And my equivalent is if you're not willing to do the self work for yourself, you're not going to be willing to do the work in a relationship. So if you
Bingo.
haven't done the work for yourself,
Mm.
you're not going to be able to make it in a relationship because you need to do the work for yourself to be 100. So when your partner is at a low, you can be at a high, vice versa. And where say you are stronger in one area and they might be weaker and vice versa, you two are equally yoked and you balance each other.
I like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead, Trina.
I disagree. Like, man, communication rule the nation. If the communication is bad, I don't care how good the sex is, the money is, or whatever. When communication falls off, it's a wrap. Because, like,
Mhm.
you find yourself trying to have a conversation with your person and they're offended or they're on the defense. You know what I'm saying? When we're
Mm.
offended, we go on the defense, and now you're not even receiving what I'm saying to you. So how are we going to reach a resolve? You know what I'm saying? And to be honest with you, some people don't even understand the difference between talking and communicating, right?
Mhm.
Mm.
There's a big difference between those things. We all end up eventually, for the most part, learn how to talk. but you were communicating before you actually learned how to talk. How do you know? Because babies still communicate their needs without words. You still understand that baby needs something. They're not
Yeah.
coming out the womb talking to you. So communication matters. And when there's a communication breakdown, if it's not repaired, oh, no, 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 no. You know what I'm saying? You want to
Mhm.
know when to leave a relationship when y'all can't even communicate with each other
Mhm.
effectively. Keyword is effectively. We're talking with each other, not at each other. Just like
Mhm.
Eric was saying, we have to be able to come to, even when we don't agree, we still have to be able to come to each other and still
Right.
communicate. It's not
Yeah.
about agreeing on everything, because you're not going to agree on everything, you know what I'm saying, but it's
Mhm.
still about how do we communicate about those things, and how do we communicate about disagreements, how do we communicate about our issues, because you're gonna have them. That's the
Yeah.
thing. This fairy tale relationship that people are talking about, the minute when you have some strife or some tension, some people say that's when it's time to go. And that's how you know you wasn't ready for a relationship anyway.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I
Yeah.
also feel like when you go looking for something, like I had him like, oh girl, I went go looking in his phone, or I went and go, like I feel like he do, like if you are at this point in your relationship, if you are actively looking for something, you basically
Mhm.
already know the answer that is done. You want proof. But the thing is even if you don't find proof, there's always going to be, unless you do some work to get yourself reset, to get you in a better headspace, the minute you have to look for a reason, it's done. It's done. Whether you find it or not, you've made a decision. You just trying to find something to confirm it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and true, like what and what you said too, as far as like communication. So I mean, like when y'all do have an argument, it takes that mature person to be like, okay, we had an argument. When you both mad at each other, what I'm saying. It takes that mature person to be like, okay, all right, we pissed off. How
Mhm.
can we resolve this? Because I'm not finna just stay in this room and be quiet, and you stay in that room and stuff like that. So I know when me and my wife get in an argument, I'm usually the one that's, that brings the communication, to hand. Not blaming her, but like I say, I don't like arguing. I don't like the friction and stuff like that. So, but some, I think, some people, they just don't know how to communicate. I don't know where they could learn that from, because I think that comes from growth and maturity. You know what I'm saying? Just being around different people, and like you said, learning yourself. So if you understand yourself, then I think you know how to properly communicate yourself to your partner and
Yeah.
tell your partner how you feel. Like some cats out there, they don't know how to communicate. They just have one way, and like you said, they
And
don't know how to talk.
probably how they were raised. Because,
Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't know how to
I was
talk.
thinking that the
society,
same. I was thinking
men,
that, sure.
first in society, men have the view of you need to go and provide. So to them, their communication is, well, I go out, pay the bills, I do everything you ask me to, what you want. And women, we
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, I'm glad that you did that, but I need some kind of stimulation. I need some intellectual interaction. I need affection, things of that sort. And it's unfortunate because when you look at societal standards, men are basically, like they always, the analogy where they go and they say how men are given the G.I. Joe and the girls are given the Barbies, so to
Mhm.
speak.
Mm-hmm.
There's always like the thing. I don't think it's as big as it is now as it has been back then, let's say for our generations, but
Mm-hmm.
there's still a very real stem from that concept, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And then she
Yeah.
brought up a good point as well about the way that you grew up. The thing about it is, the way that you are raised is going to teach you either how you would like to be or how you would not like to be. Right. So,
Mhm.
any example you have, that's the beauty of when you sometimes, unfortunately, come up in some very stressful environments or maybe not the most favorable circumstances. It still can teach you. Right. Either
Mhm.
way. Because the fact is, we mimic what we see. And so
Mhm.
sometimes that's why you see patterns. You know what I'm saying? Patterns of behavior, because that's how I learn. We learn through observation as well. So you pose the question, well, how does a person learn how to communicate if they've never been taught? Well, part of it, there's no one answer to that. There's
Mhm.
trial and error, because you might meet someone who's going to correct you. You know what I'm saying? And if you're willing to take in what they're dishing out, if you're willing to take in what they're telling you, then that may help you. The obvious answer, honestly, therapy. We definitely
Mm.
address communication skills when it comes to therapy, because
Mhm.
if you don't know how to communicate what you're feeling, what you're thinking, or whatever the case is, then you are at a grave disadvantage, regardless of what your intentions are. One of the things that I keep hearing Erica point to is about self, and it's important because what can you pour from a vessel, but what's within said vessel? So I can't really
Mhm.
pour all this positivity and all of this
If you
into you.
toxic.
Exactly. I'm gonna pour that into you. That's all I have. You know what I'm saying? And then the
Mm,
last thing I will say, Floyd, going back to what you were saying, I think that an important part of communication and the communication skills is knowing when not to talk. Quite frankly, I'm not about to. I've worked very hard to get to this point. I don't necessarily like to discuss things when I'm not in a position to be respectful in my discussion. You
mhm.
know what I'm saying? So, as much, and that's one of the issues because sometimes people push you to speak when you're not ready to speak. So, silence, as much as it can be uncomfortable, it is valuable when utilized correctly. So, we have to give, because you got to give yourself a chance to think. We get in these
Mhm.
arguments because it's like it's time to talk. You haven't even thought about it. So, whatever's coming out your
Mhm.
mouth is straight emotion, probably straight fire, okay, and it's
Yeah.
not helping the situation at all. So
Mhm.
it really depends on the people, but I just want to encourage people to don't underestimate the value of silence when it's utilized properly, not in a
Like your
passive
mamas used to
aggressive
say.
way. Yeah, not in a
Okay. I
passive
like
aggressive
that.
way, but
And
so
mamas, like the mamas used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all.
Okay. Hey, man, y'all hit. Yeah, that was pretty good, man. Uh, let's lighten the load. This is a light question. This is a light question, for the
I don't
people.
know how
what
light
did you
is.
Um,
say?
I
Oh,
don't know.
now,
okay. You went to that one.
yeah, I went to that.
Did you get
So
this from the last podcast we was on? I talked about this
no,
briefly.
but now that you mention it, though, it does kind of correlate to the last thing and stuff. I don't know where I got that question from because some of the questions I be getting, like, it'd be like
Mhm.
it'd be a week in advance. So, like, let's say if I do a show next Friday or something,
Mhm.
then I start after this show thinking of questions. So I don't know
Mhm.
when I came up with that, but
Mhm.
I know I couldn't be happy being a house husband. Me personally, because being at home is boring. I'm not gonna lie. After a
Yeah.
certain time, oh man, it's just tough being at home.
Mhm.
Um, that's just my perspective. But the question is not really catered to me. It's catered to y'all. Like, could y'all be happy with a house husband? And
I
I
that's
mean,
need
for
I,
people that's watching
definition.
the show too.
I need
I mean,
definition.
so, so I honestly could be happy with the house husband. Like I had said before, it would be with the understanding the finances, the structure of the home is in a very strong place.
Hmm.
As long
Yeah,
as the
okay.
structure of the home is in a very strong place, I feel it's very possible. I'm actually honestly because like when I think of kids, I don't want them. But if I get married and I love him and he
Yeah.
want them and he willing to take him, because if I get him, like I know I'm gonna love my kids because I love my niece. But for me, I'm in a place where I have gone through a lot of the experiences from raising my siblings. So God
Hmm.
has blessed me to be able to have those experiences where I'm at peace if I don't have children.
Hmm.
But if I'm with a partner, I'm not going to slight him of that experience when we get married if that's what he wants. But I also am going to have to be
That's what's
realistic
up.
and have him understand that if this is what you really want, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm not going to be present. I am going to be present as a mother. I just know it. I'm probably going to be psycho. But I would, if the opportunity came where he could focus on the kids, like that movie is going on right now with Kevin Hart. Oh, yes,
Oh
yes.
yeah.
Because in addition to me being able to do that, and to me, and I still feel like people have this stigma that if he's a house husband, the respect can't be placed on a man. I do think that a man could be highly respected, and even
Yeah.
in the presence of others, because what happens in the household stays within the household. It shouldn't be in the marriage, shouldn't be shared with anybody. But if that's what he wants to do, I would support him, and he would still feel like the man of the house. I
And that's
wouldn't
the
have any.
thing, the stigma of the man being the house husband and the female, just own him, like, come home and this. You know what I'm saying? It's like the opposite, I guess, if you
Hmm.
wanna. And I don't know. I think
Well,
Ken on our last show, Ken
He was
Smith,
like, hell no.
he's not cool with the house husband thing. And like I said, I think financially you have to be straight, you know, if as first to be a house husband. Um, now I don't know
Hmm.
what a house I don't know what a house husband necessarily does. I
What do
mean,
you mean? It's not that different. Like the fact is, like when you say a house husband, first of all, it's like the whole stigma with the housewife or the homemaker. When they
yeah,
actually break it down and they calculate like how much this person literally would be paid if they were getting paid for all the things that you
Obscene
do,
amount.
you're paid. Like it's like don't paint a picture like a house husband is a bum, because that's what I'm hearing. If you are taking care of the house, that means that the house, the food, the children, the cleaning, the
Activities.
yard, because that's what I'm thinking too. Like if it's a house, I mean everything that goes on with the house is being taken care of, and I can't necessarily say I wouldn't be cool with that. The other thing is with the way that incomes work now, back in the day, women couldn't possibly make nearly as close to what men would make. We couldn't even get those jobs. But because we
Mhm.
can get those jobs now, or we are able to, create these spaces for ourselves. I
And
mean,
Black
if
women
you
being the most educated group. Sorry.
right, you know what I'm saying? If you have a woman that is like what oh God, the job was so amazing. I forgot the actual term. Like, I mean, she making money. Okay,
Mhm.
a neurosurgeon, and you went to school for English. Like your major is English. You're probably not gonna make as much as she's making. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
true.
And so
Yeah.
people tend to try to make the finances defend. Like that's like how you define
The
who runs the
focus,
house or whatever, huh?
the finance is the focus, and it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
What if you cook better than me? I mean, that's
Yeah.
probably actually
You
true,
know
to
what?
be
Now that
honest.
I'm
Like,
thinking about it,
you know
I
what I'm
think
saying? Like,
I think a house husband actually does more than a housewife.
well, he might in my situation
Yeah,
because,
because
like
he
I said,
also better be building my DIY projects too. Right
and
after
my
he get
my
the
yard
kids.
too. The
He
yard
gotta
has to
cut
be
the he gotta
taken
cut the
care
yard
of,
and everything. He got to
and
yeah,
maintenance, like the tool,
maintenance.
like
You gotta
the
be yeah.
maintenance. You know what I'm saying?
God
So you
dang,
painting this like this chill, and he
that's
doing
harder.
nothing, but he's
He might as
doing
well
a lot.
just go get it. Just go get a job, my brother. Just
Doing
go
a
get
lot of
it.
things that I probably don't
I
want to
mean,
do.
I
Being
would cut
honest.
my own yard. I'm not opposed to cutting my own yard, and I
I
would.
have, but in this situation we're discussing, I probably will want him to do it, and I don't cut my own yard now at this point because he
How,
doesn't want me to do it.
yeah,
So
exactly. At this point, you're not cutting no grass. But how was
yeah,
it when
he's
you cut
not.
the grass?
No,
Did you like it when you cut the grass? You
oh,
didn't
it
want
was
to
a
do that no more.
workout.
See,
It was a
exactly.
Mhm.
workout. I treat it like a workout, but again, he doesn't want me doing that, so I'm not doing it. Case closed. It's done.
Yeah. So, what he say? He say, yeah, not bad for it, especially if he has money stacked or still making money.
And that's what I like about it. He could be making passive income. He could be
Mhm.
investing, like you
Okay.
said, he could already have a purse, you know how they call that, where you have money already sitting. So
Mm-hmm.
he's still able to contribute, but he's more or less still in society's eyes, he's not leaving going to work every day or whatever the case is.
No.
Because I feel like that's what they would consider a house husband. He's not going to work every day. But the fact is, at the end of the day, that's why I asked you for definition. It really depends. But I think that when you say house husband, the first thing people picture is, man, I don't know. I keep picturing Mrs. Doubtfire or something. I don't know. This some
Mhm.
subpar image of what that means, and I do not underestimate the importance of making sure a house runs properly.
Right.
um. Now, when you say house husband, I think the first picture that pops up in people's head is like he's a bum.
That's what I'm
Um.
No.
saying.
See, and I don't view that at all because I feel for a man to be able to get into a position, and especially in a marriage for where that is a possibility, work was done. Work was done in some aspects. Because I mean, you have somewhere it's just like there's house husband and it's just like my husband don't do anything. There's a
Mm-hmm.
difference. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So when someone when someone goes and technically quote unquote takes that title, work has been done for them to be able to say like this my husband, yeah, is a stay-at-home dad or stay-at-home husband for a reason. But if my husband wasn't doing anything and break down the communication probably leading to a divorce. If he wasn't doing anything, that wouldn't have been a house husband. That's just my husband isn't doing anything.
The bum.
The
The bum. You know what? I was watching House Hunters, and the dude, like, I forgot what the wife did, but the dude was a house husband. And then they showed like the little picture of him. The kids was jumping on the sofa and stuff like that. I was like, dang.
Hmm.
I said, what? I said, what they do for him to be a house husband? And seemed like he was very happy, and he seemed like he did his job pretty well. Like he took it importance of being a house husband
He
and
probably
stuff.
was able to cater and attend to her and
Yeah,
honor
I
her.
forgot what she did or whatever, but I remember watching that on House Hunters and stuff. So, but
Yeah.
I know I couldn't. Me personally, I couldn't be happy with being a house husband because if she gonna come home, dishes still gonna be dirty. You know what I'm saying? It
But
probably ain't
yeah,
gonna be
you
no.
wouldn't do your job, so you're not
Yeah.
gonna be the good
Everyone
house
should
husband.
be
That's
cleaning up
the
after
issue.
themselves anyway.
Uh, yeah, they should. Grass might not be cut.
Put it in a
You know what I'm
dishwasher.
saying?
Yeah,
Me and
and
the
like I
kid.
say, most of the people saying that, like a lot of people saying they just couldn't be comfortable with it. And it's totally understandable. It's preference. To be honest with you, it goes back to how you were raised. Some people were raised where that's just wasn't what it was. So they're not going to be comfortable with that. But the fact is, some people were raised where, you have a situation where you may have been in a single parent home and they were everything. You know what I'm saying? And so to be able to lighten that load, in my opinion, there's no issue with that. The other thing is just the dynamics of how you were raised as well.
Mhm.
If you have a young man that was raised with say his mama, even if his dad or grandmother or something, then he may have a lot of skills, baking, all that stuff like that you immediately
Mhm.
attribute to a woman. And it doesn't mean she ought. We're not born waking up, just born out the womb with all of those skills. We learned
Hmm.
that, we observed that. So if you have a male that was raised by a woman or a grandmother or something like that, or maybe with sisters and all that, he might know a lot of stuff about cleaning, cooking, and all
Yeah,
that stuff like that. So we have to make sure we don't just assume that just because of your genitalia, you come with the knowledge
exactly.
and the ability to do all these things, and you're supposed to do these things because in my opinion, that's how some relationships don't work because you're trying to do it like everybody else did it, and that might not even be what works for y'all. It may
Exactly.
actually work better for you for him to be the one that does all those things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
And
Because I was
saying this.
always, huh?
I was just gonna say it just depends on what works for you and your significant other. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking a house husband. I'm just saying that's something
Oh
that
yeah.
I wouldn't do. But if that was that what works for y'all, then that's what works. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't think
Mhm.
it's just relationships are not traditional nowadays. It's what works for you. So
But
uh,
who created the blueprint for what traditional is? I'm gonna just leave it at
I
that.
don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna say that too because I always say like as far as society. You know what I'm saying? As
Mhm.
far as
And
society, who created like
who created this view in society? I'm gonna just leave it at that and not answer that question.
yeah, I know. I say that with a lot of things. With society, they create a norm of a certain thing where people are
Hmm.
supposed to follow, and when people don't follow the norm in society, we call them weird, or we call them, we
Yeah.
call them names and stuff like that. And I'm thinking like, well, who created this to be normal?
Right.
But that's a whole nother
I have a
subject.
question.
Yeah,
And then we probably should move on after I pose this question. But
Oh
I'm just
Lord.
gonna be honest with you.
yeah.
Because if that's the case, and then how are we handling same-sex couples? How do we decide which one is the breadwinner and which one goes out? Then
I don't know. I mean,
exactly,
And what's crazy is
exactly,
we let them tell us. We let them decide and tell us.
exactly. You understand? Now all of a sudden,
mm,
well, they get to pick. Really?
bang. That was corny. My bad. That was a corny bomb drop. My bad. I don't know how I dropped the bomb. That didn't. Oh, okay. My bad. All right, we'll do. Um. But yeah, that's true. But what you said, like we let them decide and stuff.
So
So, but I mean, yeah, that's the house husband. So, oh, hold on. Let's see what Kim said. She said, if the woman she gotta have a lot of money. I'm only gay for pay. Oh, dang. She's
So
gay
then in
for
that case, I'm
pay.
saying she would be the housewife. She would be the house
Okay.
person. We didn't be the house person.
I gotta
See?
improve that bomb drop. For sure. Okay, so hey, yo, shout out to everybody that's participating, that's commenting, that's sharing, that's liking the podcast. I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? This episode 112. and I have Miss Renee on the scene. I have Miss TR Eve on the show. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, if y'all want to call in 409-233-0017, for sure. And we're gonna move on to the next episode. We're gonna move on to the next thing. And you know what I'm saying? It's like, can a woman truly change a man? Can
Oh,
you
yeah, I
change
saw
that
your face, Miss
man?
Renee. You can go ahead because I
She look
saw
like
that
she look like she changed her man.
face.
She like, yeah, I changed that motherfucker.
I don't know.
I'm going to say the right man, yes. Most men, no. Being that the only way that any man or any person is going to change is they're going to have to want to change for themselves. When that right, and I do believe, and the reason why I say the right man or the right woman, because you have men who've gone and played around, hopped in multiple beds and everything else. But once he meets, quote unquote, the one, he's going to change his world for that person, if that makes sense. Like they have to want to change for themselves. You cannot change someone's actual nature, if that makes sense. If it's not in there, it's not going to happen. That's my whole view. So I think a woman
press 1 to send a voicemail.
Oh, my
actually
bad.
change.
My bad, man.
You're
Renee. I got a caller on the scene. Caller.
You can go ahead.
Hello.
What's up, caller? What it do?
I mean, y'all got it. I was calling in to give my opinion on the question:
Your opinion is
can
definitely
a woman
respected.
change? Oh, is it?
It is a respect. It's, yeah.
So the question was: can a woman change a man?
Yes, that is the question.
Okay, so my personal opinion on change in general is that nobody can change anybody. You can be influential in someone bringing out their higher self, but you cannot change anybody. If that's the case, we would have people having kids and completely changing their lives around with the snap of a finger. People on drugs instantly getting off of drugs. So I don't think that, change is personal. It's, you know what I'm saying? Now again,
yeah, okay.
You can influence a person to change. You can create a safe environment. You can create a healing environment. You can create a more structured environment for that person. But can you change a person? Absolutely not. You cannot change a person. So again, I think that relationships, friendships, you should not be looking or trying to be attached to anybody for the purpose of them making you change. You should be attaching yourself to energies that are positive, that are not going to bring you down, that's not going to weigh you down, and that's going to open your eyes to a whole nother level of thinking, of being, of feeling. But can a person change another person? The answer in short term is no. I think a person can influence or bring out, different levels of people. Some good, some bad. Because if we talk about change is not always a positive thing. You have negative change, you have positive change. So if we say, can a person change a person? I mean, that has to go either direction. So, again, I think that we are very influential in each other's lives. So it's important with any relationship, be it intimate or be it on the friendly level or, just the connection level. I feel like it's important to be mindful of the connections that we make because, again, we're influential in each other's lives. So that is my 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cents. So
yeah, that was dope.
I said I was gonna call in.
You did say you was calling, and you definitely called in and gave your perspective.
I did. I'm off today. I'm off today. I'm off tonight.
Oh, you
so
off
I got
tonight.
time.
What the heck? You supposed to be grinding. You supposed to be, hey, like I know I'm off today, babe, but I'm finna go help you.
I agree.
I'm off. But let me get back. Let me hang up because I'm not watching the live because I didn't want it to have an echo. But I just wanted to add that that's That's just the thing. We go through life trying to attach to something and hope that it pulls us into a certain direction, when in essence it's like, don't get pulled, but towards a person, it's supposed to be an easy glide. If you already heading in that direction and I'm coming along with you, it's like, let's split the fare. But if I'm trying to take you somewhere that you're not ready to go, then I carry the load, because you're not really trying to come. You know what I'm saying? But if we both go in the same direction, I say, well, give me half on the gas, or you pay for this, or you pay for that. Then, it's a mutual thing. We both feeding each other. We both getting something out of it. That's why people are so drained by relationships and being, involved with people. Is because they letting people latch on, and these people they're not giving them no gas money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you putting your bags in my car and I'm burning out gas fast because I got extra shit in my trunk and my gas burning out fast, and you don't even have no money to help me fill back up. So I'm going to drop you off and I'm going to keep the fuck going. So again, I don't think that people can change people. I think we influence each other. So that's why it's just important to have a great circle of people, not just man, woman, whatever, just a great circle of people. And, to help you elevate, it's all about frequency. To help you get to that frequency, and that's why I hate when I see people say, I'm on whatever you own. That's stupid. Yeah. We can't, I can't, I'm, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't lower I'm a disconnect from you. I can't be on whatever you on. That's not smart to do, because you introducing yourself to all kind of shit. So if you on some scheme shit, I got to be on some scheme shit. If you on some negative shit, I got to be on some negative. No, cut yourself. Mm-hmm. You can't afford that. You shouldn't be in any situation, any relationship, any environment that's lowering your frequency. If I got to go low, I gotta go.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt.
Because it's gonna cost me too much to elevate to where I need to be. So again, that's my answer in short. I don't want to take over your show.
It's all good.
I'm gonna let the professionals get back to talking. Yeah. So thank y'all.
All right, bet.
All right, bye.
Yo, she gave one thing that she said that I liked was the environment that you create for a person.
Yeah.
And,
I think that's the most important
I like
thing.
that, to make a person feel comfortable and feel at peace and at ease is
the right, by being the right
you
person.
know what I'm saying? Yeah, right person.
But you can do that and they still don't change. And so that's the important thing. Like, I absolutely positively do not think that you can change a person, period. Not even a woman change a man.
So when is it time to move on? Question.
That goes back to that. I'm so serious. I mean, because it's some situations. There may be people in the audience. It may be experiences that those of us on this panel have had where you have tried to do everything you could, but drink the water for this horse. Okay. And it did not work. Sometimes people set up circumstances and situations for a person, and that's when it turns out maybe that's not the person because they did not know how to receive it. So I like that the caller said that you can be influential and you can cultivate an environment that would make being vulnerable, because change comes with vulnerability. So if you create an environment where they are comfortable being vulnerable, then they may actually try to change, because a lot of times we stay the same because we become comfortable. Even when it's negative, you're still comfortable because you're used to it, so you don't change. So you can challenge a person. You can encourage a person to want to improve, because the thing about it is change can go either way too. We have to be clear about that, because a person can influence a person for what we would consider the better or the worse. So we have to be very clear. Is this a question of, can a woman truly change a man for the better? Or are we saying, can a woman change a man, period? And again, I don't agree with the term change, but I do believe that, a lot of us know people who we may have thought were on top of their business and whatnot, and they got with somebody and we're like, oh, he or she changed them. And then you have somebody else where you be like, oh, she elevated him or he elevated her. But the fact is, environment. It is not that you change, because I still ultimately have to make a decision to change like that. And I love the fact that they said personal, because that's exactly what was right here. Change is personal, because
Yeah,
at
it's
the end of the
definitely
day,
it's definitely
I have
personal.
to do it. I'm the one that's going to have to, this vessel will be the one that has to go through the changes, no matter how much you encourage me, how much you push me to do it, how much you do, or whatever the case is. So that's what I'm saying. Because I mean, to be honest with you, when you say things like this, that may make somebody feel some type of way. There are mothers and fathers that have tried their hardest to do whatever they could for their kids to try
Mhm.
to change them, and it did not work. There are people who love people wholeheartedly, and they could not, change that person. You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. Well, that's just the one thing that I cannot stand is, girl, I trained him. I'm like, you can't train. You train a dog. You do not train a man.
I
You can
mean,
communicate to your partner to be able to maybe express or do things in a certain manner. Even they say groom. If you train, groom, mold, like those words, I can't stand that. I can't stand those terms when it comes to relationship. Because at the end of the day, it's like, no. And then they're like, well, I trained him and I got him to where he is, and now he gonna go off to somebody else. Well, he wasn't yours to begin with if he goes off to somebody else. And I don't want to get into a relationship where I'm going through like, and I don't have children. I just shouldn't have to train someone. We grow together, we evolve together, but I'm not going to train you. I'm not going to mold you. I'm not going to groom you. I will encourage you, but I will not try to actually change who you are. I will be able to, maybe you came up in a certain environment where you are not exposed to as much, so I will be happy to expose you to different things in life if that's something you haven't been exposed to. But I'm not going to train you. You're not a dog. You're not, because to me you become a debt. You don't become an asset. You become a debt because it's something that I had to physically take from myself. Is literally withdrawing from my account and pay for this or pour into this. So I'm pouring from myself and I'm pouring into you. If I have to train you, I'll train my dogs. I'm not
mhm.
training.
And then if it
Hey,
don't work out, whew, now you feel some type of way, because you looking like you tell yourself that I did this. No, change that lasts comes from within. You know what I'm saying? So if
Mhm,
it's gonna last, it's gonna come from you. If you
mhm.
turn around and you think you changed this person, then whenever that no longer suits them, you're gonna see who they are
Yes,
anyway. People
yes.
can fake. There's a facade, and one of your watchers said, and I appreciate, I think it's Shireen, when she was talking about the problem when people get with somebody and they go through all of that, and then they, go through the dating, go through all of this stuff, and then finally when y'all get to that point, like in marriage or further, you start trying to change that person. Don't date a person with the intentions of changing them. You have to accept the person where they are. And if you can't do that, then you may
Mhm.
want to move around. So it goes back once again. We're circling back to that question: when is it time to leave? I honestly think when you find yourself working harder than that person to improve them, it is time to leave. You don't
mm.
go into a situation with the idea of what you can make a person. You have to be willing to accept the person
As
where
they
they're
are.
at.
Yeah, facts though. Man, great points y'all dropped. That's for my boy David Dixon. Shout out to him. He does what I'm saying, if y'all want to get in shape,
There's a
if y'all
lot.
want to, he does a
There's
lot
a
for
lot.
sure, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the homie. But yeah, as far as it goes, can a woman change a man? Um, you know, I think the great point is, she could be very influential in that man's life, but that man has to want to change. He has to want to, accept that or what she's trying to offer him. So, but I mean, hey, y'all hit the nail on the coffin with that, and I appreciate Kim for calling, giving her 2 cents. She's off today or whatever, and she gave a great insight. What I'm saying, her perspective and stuff like that. So let's move on. And also, if y'all want to call in, you could call 409-233-0017. This is the Kickback Podcast. You know what I'm saying? This show will be on YouTube. It will be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, wherever you listen to music or whatever. It's on there. So you could just tap in and do that. Because I hate when people say, man, I missed your show. I'm like, okay, and go listen to it. You could go listen to it, you know what I'm saying, in your car on whatever, or you
Yeah.
can watch it on YouTube. You missed the live version, but that's it. You know what I'm saying? It's more to
Mhm.
it. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? Leftovers. Y'all still eat leftovers. You watching it again. I mean, if you're watching, not watching live, it's like a leftover. You know what I'm saying? That gumbo is good, you know, after,
The
you know what
next
I'm
day
saying,
is
the next
better.
day. So,
Mhm.
you know, you can still comment and I will still respond the next day or whatever for the show. Yeah, shout out to Miss Shireen. She's supposed to cook me some shit, I forgot what it was, man. She's supposed to cook something for me. She never cooked it though. You know what I'm saying? I'm still waiting. It's been over a year. She's
Oh,
supposed to
Yes, I
some shrimp and grits. She's supposed to cook me some shrimp and grits. I still never got it. I'm gonna always bring it up because you offered it. You know what I'm saying? But we go continue on. And I appreciate you because she said she loves this show. And for sure, shout out to Miss Shireen.
so
And shout out, and I got a coworker too.
you.
I have a coworker. His name is Tyler. I don't know his last name, but Tyler, you know what I'm saying? Not to get, you know what I'm saying, on the race type thing or whatever, but Tyler's, he's white, he's cool, you know what I'm saying? And he said, is your podcast catered towards, you know what I'm saying, black, but I said, nah, bro, you know what I'm saying? Nah, it's catered to everyone. It's just a conversation piece,
people.
you know what I'm saying? So
I'm
Michelle.
black with an Asian daddy, born in an Asian country, and grew up in a yeah. So
For sure. Yeah, yeah. So Miss Shireen, I'm glad you commented, showed yourself, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it makes Tyler a little bit more comfortable. He been commenting on the show too. He probably busy right now. He ain't commenting on this show, but he commented on the other one. But I'm glad
Mhm.
that you commented because that was a question that he asked. But one of okay, so um oh dang. Oh, I think I just deleted one of the comments that one of the topics accidentally deleted it. So freaking crap. I don't know which one I deleted. But okay, so we've been talking about relationships and stuff like that. And sex is important in relationships, so we ain't chimed in on that. So, what I'm saying, is sex owed in a committed relationship? Do you think sex is owed both ways, not just speaking on the man's point, but on the woman's point? So, I mean, how important is this?
All right.
Yeah,
I
shrimp and
guess I'll
grits.
jump in.
Ah,
So this is the deal.
yeah, okay.
Okay. If it started off as a part of the relationship, if there's going to be a change in regards to sex, then that needs to be discussed. And sex does not need to be weaponized.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah,
And so
facts.
for me, it's like the word old, I know how that can be off putting for some people. But I do believe that if it is a big part, which for a lot of, relationships, it is a big part of the relationship, that you can't just decide all of a sudden that you want to stop, or because first of all, that's not fair, especially if you're not open to an open relationship. See, now if you
Mhm.
stop because you're in some type of mood, or even if you're going through a change in your life where you want to do that, that's fine, that's you. But you can't expect another person to just automatically be on board with that. And so unfortunately that opens the door for other things to happen, and it doesn't mean that's automatically going to be somebody cheating on you, right? I mean, they might actually just leave. That might be the demise of your relationship. So what I'm saying is, when it comes to sex, if you are going to try to make any change, you need to discuss that with that person. And that's on both sides. That's not
Mm.
just a man thing,
Communication again.
yeah, we women like sex too. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So, if you decide to weaponize it, then that's when it really becomes a problem. Not the actual sex itself, but the fact that you're trying to use it as a bargaining tool, or as a punishment. It's like, we grown. Don't do that. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? So I'm not gonna say it's old, but if it's expected, it's expected,
yeah. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say it's old. I think it should be given. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, come on, I mean, a man, you know, I, I know a guy. He ain't getting it at all. I don't know how he live with himself. I don't know how he live with her. She ain't
Man,
giving it at all, and I just think, like, as part, if you love that man and that's that's part of satisfying that man, you know what I'm saying? Like, sexually. Sometimes you might not want to do it, but I think to satisfy your man and to help him out, to if you love him and stuff like that, you're willing to do it.
no, you
Some
can
men,
say no. Let's be clear.
you
You
can
can
say
say
no.
no, but it's like I'm talking about, like, if you just not in the mood, and that's not just a female thing either. You know what I'm saying? As much as they make it like men are just such these
Mm-hmm.
sexual beings and just
Mm.
so barbaric and oh, I'm so
Mm-hmm.
what is that? Carnal, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's 2022. Whatever. It's not all about the guy at this point. But what I'm saying is
Yeah.
it depends on like how is sex handled in your relationship. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing about it, because like there may be sometimes when she doesn't want to. You can have boundaries in your relationship. It may be times he don't want to. And it goes back to communication. Just because I don't want to today doesn't mean I'm cheating, doesn't mean I'm not interested in you. It could honestly be that I'm a human being that actually just doesn't want to do that now. But it's about patterns. How often does this happen? Am I being honest and just saying I had a long day at work, or it was just a tough day, period, or I'm just in I'm dealing with some things? Or is it because I'm trying to punish you, or I'm just being unfair and I'm not trying to cater to you? It's a difference. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get off on that whole like, oh well, you his person, so you supposed to whenever you need to. No, I do believe you can choose. Okay, but it's just about the pattern and what are your reasons for it, and that comes with that respect. If I tell you respectfully that I'm not in the mood, you don't take that personally to the point where you're like thinking that it's more than what it is, unless I give you a reason to think that it's more than what it is. So
Yeah.
if I don't want to, then I may be able to provide you with some understanding as to why I don't want to. But no, Floyd, I don't agree with you on the whole. But even if you don't want to, still, because I don't know if you know what happens when we don't want to.
It's
That's not comfortable. That's
he
all I'm
says that.
saying. Yeah.
That is not. No, yeah, it's not. It's probably not comfortable.
No, it's not
But
comfortable.
I think, I mean, after a while, if you haven't gave your man sex in a while, I think that even if you don't want to, you probably need to communicate. You know what I'm saying? Truthfully, why you don't want to, or you probably be like, okay, yeah, it has been a while. I haven't gave him sex in like a month or whatever. I'm just throwing a number out there. um Let me take care of his needs, what I'm saying, but I think she needs to, or he needs to communicate to their partner why they haven't been turned on, or why has it been a long time since they had sex and stuff like that. So communication definitely plays a part, because after a certain while, that he's asking questions, and that might lead to him being like, man, maybe she's messing around on me, maybe I need to go through her phone and let me see who she's talking to. I'm just saying, it could lead to stuff
Yeah.
like that. You know what I'm saying? To getting questions answered because she's not communicating that to him. So I'm just saying that I don't think it's old, but I think at a certain point, I think you do need to satisfy the person that you're with needs. It's not all about you. And if you don't want to, you need to communicate that effectively. Why? And maybe y'all can work that out together, and what I'm saying, both understand why this is not happening.
Yeah. No
So
doubt.
So in this one, my thing is, again, the most important thing about this whole question is intention. If you did the work, you were intentional on your partner, so to speak. Sex is something that's natural. It's a form of expression. It's a form of connecting. It is a way for you to communicate to your partner without using words. So if you and your partner have gotten to a point to where you guys are consistently, having sex, everything's going good, and there's a sudden change, like you said, Floyd, there's a communication or something that has happened that has changed that situation where it needs to be addressed and find a solution where you can maybe course correct or get to a place to where you can get back on track or make the adjustment. Because huge example, when you get in a marriage or you're in a relationship and you have kids and you're focused on the kids, but you're no longer focused on your partner. so to speak, and
Mhm.
you pull sex from him or you pull intention in a relationship from him because it's the kids. Well, if you're not communicating that to him, he will take that as a form of neglect. He will see
Mhm.
that it's like she's not giving me what I need, so to speak. And so, what needs to happen is, although you two have kids now, you both have children. She doesn't just have the children. So together, you two need to work on a solution to where you can find a balance with the kids. And if you gotta like let them have nap time and go get it in the laundry room or in the bathroom or something, you know what I'm saying? Like you will find a way to make that happen because again, sex
Laundry
is
room.
a very natural thing.
We
And
got
all
10
it
minutes.
is,
Come in the laundry room.
Right.
right. You know, and it doesn't remove sex from the table. It just creates a little challenge that you can make fun to spice up
Mm.
the relationship, you
Mhm.
know, in the
It-
meantime. But sex
that-
isn't something that's old, it's something that should naturally happen because we're supposed to
Mhm.
quote unquote procreate
Be
you
welcome.
you know what? When you have kids, it
and
does
enjoy
kind of
it.
make it difficult. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was just you and that person, then you didn't have nobody like like you said, hey, let's go to the laundry room. It was just right out
Yeah,
in the
you don't care
open.
about the dogs if they, you
Yeah.
just tell them get go play. You can't tell it to the kids though.
Yeah, now that you have kids, it's a little bit different. You gotta kind of time.
Mhm.
You gotta time it or whatever, and you gotta work out some. You gotta work out a schedule. It's not just easy like that. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And
But you don't
especially
remove it.
yeah, especially when that kid gets older, because now that kid is thinking like, okay, mommy and daddy, you know what I'm saying, snuck off here or they got the door locked. Why is the door locked, mommy or daddy? You know what I'm saying? So then now you gotta wait till they go to sleep and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
when they go to sleep, you might be too tired to be like, man, I'm tired. Like, let's try this tomorrow. So I mean, you do have exception to the rules and stuff like that, uh, when you're dealing with kids and the change in a relationship, because that definitely can happen. You could be like a single couple. I mean, yeah, not a single couple, but no kids and doing y'all thing freely. And then that kid comes and bang, it changes the whole
Yeah.
thing where y'all was having sex like
But that's the
every day or
challenge.
something. Yeah.
That's the challenge where you make the adjustment and you get
Big
along.
word is
Uh,
adjustment for sure. And
That's
let me
that's
given.
that's definitely how you can, work on trying to spice up. Like a great show on Netflix is what is it called? How to Make a Sex Dungeon or whatever. I mean,
Oh
I've been watching
how to
it.
make a sex dungeon.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's like and they go and this older woman, she's going in a house and she's making these sex rooms, little sex dungeons, whatever, in
It's
people's
like a
homes.
horror movie.
No, no, she gets paid to build sex rooms, like for
Oh,
couples, because they want to, spice up their
dang.
relation. Yeah, I mean, and I'm over here like I ain't thought about this, but this is cute, but
Hmm.
she gets. I
A
mean,
sex
she's
room.
like PG-13 and 50 Shades of Grey, but like I mean, that's what she does. She gets paid to do it, and then the thing that people have to understand is that when you get to a point to when you get tired, especially sexually with your partner, like we not old and gray yet, where we can't get up and walk. Like we got to use canes and walkers now. Somebody got to help us to the
I'm
bathroom.
gray though. I don't know about old, but
That's
I do
wisdom.
have gray
That's
hair.
wisdom, Floyd. That's wisdom. Okay,
Great.
that's wisdom. But we're not at that point yet. So when it comes to your partner, I mean, at the end of the day, sex is another way of connecting with your partner. It's not the only way of connecting with your partner. You still have to work at it, but that's something that should be natural. So it should never be old. It should be natural in a relationship.
For
Mm.
sure. Let's move on to the last question. The last question of the night, y'all. Um, the
You
last
found it?
question. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thanks for the inbox.
Yeah.
How do women support their man? How can women support their man? Um, uh, I know how. I just trying to think. How can I word it? I think you support your man by just being there. I think the little things count for men. You know what I'm saying? If I'm at work, you know what I'm saying? Hey, a little nice little message like, hey, I love you, I respect what you're doing, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? We acknowledge those things. We're like, oh, okay, that's what's up, babe. But I think just being there, you know what I'm saying, emotionally, because not to put it on a race type thing, but as far as a black man, it's kind of hard out there. You know what I'm saying? Some of these jobs out there is hard to get because you're black, and when you get them, you have to do certain things. You have to work hard. There's a lot of stress that's involved with this because you got to be up to par. You got to be, you know, 2 times better than what's going on. So I think, you know what I'm saying, just understanding what her man is going through and being emotionally there to, you know what I'm saying, have his back is a great thing. I think that's one of the ways you can support your man. It's just being emotionally there, support him, help build him, and help inspire him. If he has goals or anything that he's trying to do, help inspire him, help him try to achieve those goals. I think it's just one of the ways that you can help support your man.
Okay.
For
Well,
sure.
you have to learn them. That's just the biggest thing for me is you have to
Yeah, you
learn
do.
your person.
Uh-huh.
Um, and you alluded to some things. You know, you're speaking about words of affirmation. It's one of the 5 love languages. So when
Mm.
you learn that person, you need to learn, in my opinion, how they receive love because you can miss the mark. You can be trying your best and have all the best intentions in the world and they still don't feel it. So and a big part of, in my opinion, supporting someone is to love them the way that they want to be loved. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't come without learning them. You know, because like you said, a message to you goes a long way. That encouragement, that acknowledgement, whereas someone else might be an acts of service person. You know what I'm saying? So you have to learn that person, as you said. Also knowing this person helps you to support their dreams or their goals or their aspirations. You know, maybe even doing some things that helps along the way. You know what I'm saying? Being supportive in that way. Um, I think that's some of the ways to do it. So there's some practical ways to support your person, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's some of the things that you do, but then there's some spiritual ways, there's some emotional
Uh-huh.
ways. You know, there's like different levels to it, different things that you can do. But in order to be able to do any of that, you have to know them. And one of the things I try to caution people against is um thinking that they got it. Like we are forever evolving, and so sometimes couples, unfortunately, the issue happens when they think I know my man. I know her. You know what I'm saying? I know them.
Uh-huh.
And it's like you have to be eager to learn them all the time. Showing that interest in a person will help you to support them. Don't act as if you just got them figured out. Yes, you can learn things about them, but you still want to approach them with that zeal of eagerness to know and to learn and to grow, right? Because you don't even like the same stuff every day. And this is you. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? So think is imagine if it's somebody outside of you, checking in with that person, paying attention and being attentive. You know what I'm saying? If you recognize changes in their demeanor, check in, things like that, just to show them that you are paying attention. Those are some of the ways that you can support your man. So
Yeah, for sure.
So
Um,
I feel in this instance, the phrase no news is good news is the complete opposite for men. Men need news. So when I said so, no news is actually not good news when it comes to men. No offense. Men are also complex, but also very simple beings at the same time. So it's like if you're not hearing something from him, nine times out of ten that there's some kind of disconnect that is happening. So, like she said, by going in and pouring into your partner, uplifting them, things of that sort, and then loving them the way they want to be wanted, I do believe, and I don't know if you agree with me on this, Trina. I think that it is easier for a woman to learn how a man wants to be loved than a man to understand how a woman wants to be loved. So, with that in mind, it's like we kind of get a little bit of the benefit because I always say we already have a lot on our plates to begin with. To where as long as we, like she said, learn to understand your man, you can't go wrong. But if you are constantly in the relationship and you're not getting updates, just like Trina said, you're not evolving, you're not growing, then all that you're gonna see at the end of the day is he's gonna be like, well, I feel like you didn't hear me, I feel like you didn't respect me, or whatever
uh-huh.
the case may be. So in this one, I just believe that being present and intentional, and then I do believe complimenting them, even if it's taking the trash out, like not every time, but just like, I really appreciate what you do for me. I don't have to worry about that, babe. I love that so much about you. Or just like, knowing that he opens the door for me or something like that. But I just want to say that I appreciate the fact that you put so much care in taking care of me. Just those things. And that like lights their world up. Now the equivalent to some women might be a pair of red bottoms. Like me, I like to know that my partner is being appreciated, because not most women, some women like gifts, and they want to know that their man appreciates them too. But I think with men, we get a little bit more of an advantage because we can just communicate to them, and that to them means the world. Because, like you said, I do believe that there is so much already built against the Black man when he comes into this world to begin with, that there's a natural defense, there's a natural obligation and a priority that they come in unknowing into this world, having to already face and acknowledge it's going to be against them in the long run as they grow, if that makes sense.
For
Mm-hmm.
sure, man. You know, I want to thank y'all because y'all gave some great pointers. And if I put clips into this show, it'd be like about 20 clips from, like, you know what I'm saying, from y'all. For sure. And just having y'all on, I knew that y'all was gonna give great pointers, great perspective. You know what I'm saying, great acknowledgement of, these topics and stuff like that. This was very dope. And I'm pretty much out of topics, you know what I'm saying? We've been going for like an hour and 30. And you know what I'm saying, this was a great conversation. And I think this helped out probably a few people in the comments. And like I said, I want to thank the caller Kim for calling in. She gave a great insight. She gave a great opinion about some stuff like that. And like I said, if you missed any part of the show, you can watch this again on Facebook, YouTube, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You can listen to it on Spotify and all that type of good stuff. And I want to thank y'all both for coming on this show and spending y'all Friday with me.
Well, thank you for having me.
For
You know what
sure.
I'm
You already
saying?
know it's always a good
For
time.
sure.
So
And I want to apologize, Trina, for getting you that boy outfit. I thought
why are you airing our dirty laundry
man,
in front of people?
that is so crazy though. For
It's
real
gonna
though.
get
Like,
worn. It's gonna get worn. Don't worry.
Right?
man. Okay. Miss Toya says it's always great when Trina is on. I told you, Trina.
Oh, thank
They
you. I
they
appreciate
was
that.
they was inboxing me. People was hitting. Hey, what's up with the chick on Trina TR Eve on the show? When you going? So for
I
sure, I
really
had to.
appreciate that though. Genuinely. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, for sure. But I want to thank y'all for coming on the show again. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully I could get y'all on soon if the scheduling is right. And I want to wish y'all a great weekend.
Happy
Same to
Labor
you
Day.
guys. Have a
Okay,
good
y'all.
one.
Y'all take care.
Bye.
See ya. All right. All right. All right. So, that was the show right there, man. That was a good show. Diary of a Successful Woman. They gave some great pointers. They dropped some great gems. This was a great conversation for sure, man. This was episode 112. Like I say, it's gonna be available on everything that's streaming. If you listen to music or podcast, it's gonna be on there. Um, Tomorrow, I would like to say that I have a music show. Also, it's gonna be on YouTube only because Facebook tripping. They already talking about like if I keep playing music or whatever, you know what I'm saying? They go block the stream. So tomorrow, 7:45 on YouTube. If you know somebody who raps or sings or do whatever, tell them to submit their music to my email. It's on my page or whatever. But they can submit their music to the email. I'll play their music. It'll be on YouTube. If they got a video, we'll play that too. We go rock out. We go chill. We go have a good time. If any local artists want to send their music in, send their music in. We go play it. We go have people hear it, and it's gonna be dope. The last show was very dope. We had cats from New York. He was trash. I'm not gonna lie. He was trash, and that's not my opinion. Only it was a lot of people saying it. You know what I'm saying? The majority was saying he was trash. But if he works on it, he probably might get there. But we had cats from Kentucky, Oklahoma, Alabama. You know what I'm saying? It was pretty dope. So like I said, if you know somebody who does music, tell them to send their music to my email. It's gonna be on YouTube. It's gonna be tomorrow. It's gonna be 7:45. I know that's a weird number, but hey, 7:45 tomorrow. And excuse me. It's gonna be 7:45 tomorrow, and it's gonna be a good time, man. And this was the show, man. Y'all have a good night. Y'all have a good weekend. Y'all stay blessed. Y'all have a great Labor Day weekend. Turn up, but also be safe. And I'm finna get out of here, man. I'm finna chill. I thank people for liking, sharing, and commenting during the show for sure. So we back, man. You know what I'm saying? I'll see y'all next week. You know what I'm saying? Love y'all. 100.